Classmate went missing 3 years ago. Today he uploaded a horrifying YouTube video. There was always something peculiar about Darren. He was the quiet kid in the class, the type of kid everyone would expect to keep a gun in their bag. Yet despite being at the same school as him for 8 years, I never could have predicted the disgusting secrets he was hiding. Darren was utterly ignored, not just by mean kids pretending not to see him, but by everyone, constantly. He was practically ignored right out of existence. This soon developed into more of a tradition than anything. Everyone knew not to talk to Darren, and at some point, he learned to stop trying to talk to us. Sometimes I would go days without even seeing him, despite his perfect attendance. I thought this was all just a harmless little joke, but I never could have guessed the horrifying reality this prank would lead to. After the pandemic in 2020, we switched to online learning, except Darren wasn't there, and that was when he went missing. For the next 3 years, I curiously wondered what had happened to Darren. That was until by sheer luck, I came across his YouTube channel. The video I had opened was entitled, Dialogues with Darren, Episode 2. It began to play, and after a moment of amazed disbelief, I realized the bony face filling the frame and staring back at me was Darren. He appeared to be set up in a dark, cluttered bedroom. Darren was sitting on a desk chair to the left of the screen, with an empty chair behind him to the right. Both chairs were angled towards the camera, and eerily lit by the only illumination in the room, Darren's computer screen. After another quick camera adjustment, Darren began a stuttery introduction of himself in a nervous, fake television host voice. As he spoke, it occurred to me that until that moment, I had no idea what Darren's voice sounded like. Hi, this is Dialogues with Darren again. Today I've got another interview with Mookie, who you might remember from our first episode. Before we pick it up, can you give us a quick reintroduction, Mookie? I glanced down at the video info. His channel had 0 subscribers. This video had 1 view and no likes or comments. It appeared that I was the first person to have seen it. I glanced back at the video and grimaced in confusion. Darren appeared to be nodding along to something and was looking intently towards the empty chair, as though respectfully permitting someone to speak. After a moment, he looked back towards the camera. Well, I guess I can't disagree with that. So tell me, Mookie, if you weren't an imaginary friend, what other kind of work would you want to do? Again, he looked towards the chair and nodded along to silence. But after his last comment, everything clicked. Darren had made a kind of joke channel, the product of boredom, and maybe the hope of being recognized for once, even if just by strangers online. As he began to ask his guest a follow-up question about aspirations for the future, I clicked out of the video and over to his channel homepage. I found the video amusing, so I left him a subscription and waited for his future uploads. 2 days later, I got my first notification. Dialogues with Darren has posted a new video. This video was with an imaginary friend named Juniper Smith. I waited until the evening and pulled out my phone in bed to watch it before going to sleep. It was the same deal as before, and I tried to piece together what he imagined the other side of his conversation to be. Thank you so much for coming on today, Miss Smith. I don't want to be rude, but I was wondering how you passed away. Darren said this last part with cautious politeness, as though he was asking someone terminally ill how much time left they had. Silence and respectful nodding. I'm so sorry to hear that. Was anyone able to figure out what happened? Darren seemed choked up by the silence that followed. That's awful. I'm so sorry, he croaked emotionally. Well, what has happened since then? This was followed by an unusually long silence of about 3 minutes, as Darren simply nodded towards the empty space next to him. I spent the time studying the empty chair, trying to detect even the slightest hint of something supernatural, but I couldn't discern anything. I practically had my nose pressed to my phone screen, watching the shadows of Darren's bedroom when his sudden speech made me start. Well, that's great. Helping little girls like that? It can't be easy after what happened to you, but you do it, and that's so great. I smiled, wondering how he came up with these stories, and whether there was a Word document somewhere on his computer that had the other side of these scripts written on it. I wanted to read them, if so. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you very much again for sharing your experiences, Miss Smith. I think that's all our time for today, but I wish you the best, and please take care. And with that, Darren smiled meekly towards the chair next to him, turned and scooched his own chair back up towards his computer, and as his hand reached out of frame, the video ended. I continued.